Welcome back, everyone.
So today we're doing conversation 16, and our topic is the Dyatlov Pass.
Yeah, what is it?
What do you
German?
mean? Yeah, no, it's Russian.
Russian.
Yeah, it's Russian.
It's a Russian incident.
Yeah, so it's pretty mind-boggling. So,
another mind twister for everybody.
Yeah, because I mean that's kind of what we like to do.
Mind twisters.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're going to do a little background so that everyone kind of knows. So the Dyatlov Pass is located in Russia in the northern Ural Mountains. And I guess the exact location is Kolatski Hill Skial. Northern Urals, Russian, SFSR.
So it's in the Soviet Union.
Yeah, Russia.
I feel like Russian is very hard to pronounce.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. That's why. Like, I don't think we'll get it right. But
so if we botch.
Yeah, I mean, sorry about that.
Names.
We tried.
We apologize.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
So we're gonna start talking about the incident and what occurred and who was involved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so little like story time. So what happened was that sometime in January 1959, so this was a long time ago.
In the 50s.
It was in the 50s.
That is a long time.
Yeah, so there was this young 23-year-old man who was named Igor Dyatlov, who organized a hiking expedition into the Ural Mountains, attempting to reach Mount Ortoten from the small settlement of Vishai. So it was kind of like a little expedition that he wanted to create.
Oh, he was organizing?
Yeah, he was organizing. And so he got a group together, and this group was composed of 8 young Russian hikers and 7 men and 2 women. And all of them were mostly university students, but there were also experienced hikers. So there were like experienced mountaineers, like they knew, you know what I mean? Like they knew how to hike and stuff.
So you put 8, but I thought it was 10 total.
Was it?
Yeah, it was 10, and one of them.
I thought it was. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, one of them left because he was too ill.
Okay.
So it ended up being 9.
Yeah, so like 8 of his friends, including him,
and the 2.
9, right?
Oh yeah, and the women,
and the one who dipped. Okay, so on February 2nd, 1959. The 9 hikers were found dead in the Dyatlov Pass, and 6 were dead from hypothermia, and 3 died from physical trauma.
So I just wanted to add on there because they set out to their hike, and I think it was a 2-week hike that they were gonna do.
And they had journals, right? Like they had little journals.
They had journals,
they would
and I
write
think
things down.
that there was a bad blizzard one night. I think it was closer to when they were already a few days in, and it kind of threw them off of their like destiny, I guess, where they were going. So it threw them off, and they went another direction, and so they decided to set up camp because it was already getting too late and the storm was pretty crazy. And
yeah, they jotted that down too, right? Like the little blizzard and
everything that happened.
Yeah, and
So there was who was the one doing the notations? Was it Dyatlov?
I'm not sure.
I think it was him. And because he was like the expedition guy, right? He was the one.
Yeah.
So I think he was the one that would write everything down up until the night of the incident. So, you want to get into it?
Yeah, but like just, on the note jotting, just keep in mind that, all the notes that they were writing up to that point, it was pretty good notes, man. It was like everything seemed pretty chill. Like,
there was no like tension.
Nothing to indicate that something was up. Something was wrong or anything.
And so the bodies were found by some of the Soviet Union soldiers, as well as some of the Native Americans that lived up there.
Okay, but like, it was said that it took 3 months to locate all 9 of their bodies.
Yes.
Which is crazy, man, because, they were together. You know what I mean? It was a group thing. And also that they found that the cause was undetermined and the area remained closed for 3 years.
Yeah. So these hikers, these were experienced hikers. People that were like at a level 3 of hiking.
They already knew. You know
I think
what I
they
mean?
were trying to get to that higher level to I think to get to the level 4 of hiking, right? There's 4 levels.
I don't even know. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was reading on that. And that there's levels that you need to get to, and the higher the level you have, the more experienced of a hiker you become. And I think it's more like of a respectable thing, and
okay.
You're more experienced. So I think they were all trying to get to that higher level. So which tells you that they've had previous experience in hiking, and they knew what to take and how it was, the terrain, rough terrain, everything.
Yeah.
That kind of is interesting how we talked about Kenny, and he's a hiker.
I know, and then they're hikers.
Yeah. So,
it's because these are mysterious. Crazy stuff happens in the mountains.
Yeah.
Man.
So they ended up finding the bodies of these hikers.
Okay, so like
go ahead.
Okay, like you want me to get into details? Or
yeah, get into details.
Okay, so a few details about like, you know, what happened. So like we said, they were found about 6 miles away from their destination in a forest almost a mile away from their campsite without their skis, shoes, or coats in approximately minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit weather. So it was really cold, and it's like, why are you not dressed? Why do you not have like any of your equipment on? You know, if it was accessible to you, it was available, and you know, they were just
so the way that it was put out, the way that it was investigated, because they went out to investigate, when they found the initial, what was it, 5 bodies?
Yeah.
They said that the circumstances of the deaths were kind of weird. Like they couldn't figure out what happened. So do you want me to talk about the tent?
Yeah, and then we'll get into the bodies and stuff.
So what happened was it all happened at night. So it was already in the evening hours. It was already like dark outside. And they were all in this big tent, and they have like a stove that's indoor and that heats up the tent. So they were all in there, and what happened was that something either frightened them or something happened inside the tent that caused all of them to get up and run. Yeah. So even one of them cut the tent with a knife, like from the side. Yeah. He cut the tent to escape. So something obviously happened. They heard something happened inside the tent, which caused them to run off. So they were able to see that the footprints were running off, and then all of a sudden they started to get slow, like slow walking or slow pacing. Yeah. So they got to the tree line, and that's where they decided to wait it out. Most of them forgot all their gear inside the tent, so these people didn't have shoes, jackets. They didn't have any clothes to keep them warm through this weather, and especially at night. So,
I mean, especially in Russia.
Okay, so that's what they said happened, that they can tell off of the tracks that they left. So now Eileen's going to talk a little bit more about how they found the bodies.
Okay, so 2 bodies had fractured skulls. 2 others had major chest fractures. 1 was missing her tongue, and eyes were removed while alive. And
well, the tongue was removed.
Yeah, I mean the tongue. She was missing. So
the tongue. Yeah, the tongue was removed. So what they said. So we'll get into each one of them, but go ahead.
Yeah. So they died separately, like we mentioned, I believe. No, we haven't. But yeah, they died separately. 2 of them were found under a cedar tree near the remains of a fire, while the 3 others were found in intervals of hundreds of feet from the tree and the fire, right? While 3 others... Wait, my bad. Oh, no, my bad. And 4 more were found in a ravine another 250 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
So they were in like different locations. They kind of dispersed.
So it seemed to me like some of them were already hurt, or some of them maybe when they ran out of the tent, some of them ran one way, the other ones ran the other way. So it's really weird.
It is. And the two that were under the tree had burned hands. The 4 in the ravine were found until May 4th, which was 3 months after the incident, which is really weird, right?
Well, because they had to wait because they couldn't find them because they were kind of like covered by snow.
Yeah, because of the snowstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there were 8 or 9 sets of footprints in the snow, right? So that just accounting for only the skiers, which didn't suggest that there was another party's involvement.
Yeah, it was only their tracks that they found. They didn't find any additional
like there was
tracks. Additional, yeah.
But that's not to say, like, I mean, on foot at least they weren't able to say that there was someone else there, and there was no sign of struggle from any human or like from any of the people. There was no sign of struggle, and there was also no other like human or animal that approached the campsite that they can identify, that they can say like, oh, here's some evidence that this was there.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna get into each one of them individually and what the coroner found, and when it comes to their injuries. So I just want to let you know that from all of them, each one of them had minor cuts and bruises. But so I'm going to start with Donachenko. So he had blood coming out of his face. And he had on his right temple, he had like a burn. So like, right? Yeah. Like he had a burn.
Okay, right here in the temple.
So they determined that he had like a pulmonary edema, which I think is like a clot somewhere in his like lung area, and so I think that's like some of the cause of the bleeding. I mean,
but do you think that was,
I'm not a doctor,
he was probably the one who was with the chest fracture?
No, it wasn't him. No, he just had that. So Donachenko had that, and of course the blood and the burnt temple. And then there's Kirovanichenko that was next to him, and he had bruises, cuts as well. He had the tip of his nose removed, so I think they were saying that they believe that it was because
like
animals
frostbite?
Or animals were eating it. Yeah.
Okay.
He was missing part of his hand, so they determined, because they found a piece of his hand in his mouth. So they determined that like he bit it off because he couldn't feel his hand. I don't know. He was trying to stay awake, something. So,
oh my God.
So they both of his hands were burnt too. I want to also mention, because they were next to the cedar tree. So I want to also mention that the tree was inspected, and the tree had like chunks of flesh on it. Like somebody climbed and they got scraped, or, got cut by the tree. Maybe they were trying to get wood to burn, to start a fire. I mean, we don't know. It's not specific. But both of those gentlemen were determined to have passed away from hypothermia. And then also next to the cedar tree was Dyatlov, which was the leader. And he had a watch, and his watch stopped at 5:31 a.m. So I don't know if that's how long, it took when he died. Maybe it got wet. I don't know, but it stopped working at 5:31 a.m. He had blood on his lips, and he was missing a tooth. He was missing one of his teeth from the bottom of his jaw, and he had hand injuries. It looked like on his knuckles, like he got in a fight or something. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
So that was for Dyatlov. And then they found Zenaida, which was one of the girls, and they found her face down with cuts and bruises. And in her lumbar region, she had like a fresh bruise, like somebody hit her with a bat or like with something hard, like on one of her side areas. Yeah. And she died. They determined that she also died from hypothermia. Then we have Sobadin, I think is his name. I don't know. I'm so sorry if I'm not saying him right. But they found him face down. He only had one shoe on. And he had like wounds and a skull fracture. Which they couldn't really like say what caused it.
Yeah.
He died of hypothermia as well. So those were the people that were found originally at the beginning.
Yeah. The 5, right?
The 5. The other 4 were found separately and in the ravine. So the other 4, their injuries were, I feel like, more traumatic, more like intense. So we're gonna start with Kivalotov. I think it's his name. So they were saying that he died from hypothermia as well, but he had his nose was missing. He had his missing eyes, and the tissue around his eyes were missing. He had an open wound to the left side of his ear, and his clothes were radioactive.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Weird, right? And his neck was deformed. So they're thinking that he fell. So what they were thinking is that these 4, when they were running, didn't notice that there was a ravine, and I think a couple of them fell in there. And they're thinking that that's why he like broke his neck. That's why his neck was like, you know.
Okay, but how do you explain the rest?
Yeah, the eyes.
And the nose, yeah.
Right? Okay. It only gets crazier.
Wow.
Okay, so then there's Zalitarmar. And so all the top half of his rib cage was cracked. He had a large open wound to the side of his head and missing eyes, and his eyelids were gone too. And they found him with a pen and paper in his hand. What? So it almost seemed like he was gonna write down what happened, or kind of write a note, something, but he never got to it.
That's just, it's odd, bro. Like okay, you're not gonna have clothes on, but you're gonna jot something down.
Yeah, because they said that I think some of the other 4, the ones that fell in the ravine, I think that they took clothes from the other deceased hikers. So to try to stay warm.
So you think that they died at separate times?
Yeah.
Like you don't think that when they all ran out?
I'm pretty sure like some of them died faster than others because of the lack of clothing, and the hypothermia sets in quick, especially at that temperature. So I'm thinking that they all died around on the same day, but different times. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's intense, man.
Okay, and then we're gonna go to Brignoris. I think he was the oldest one. He had a massive impact to his skull, and I don't know, and it was broken from the inside. So. Like the guy,
like from the inside out.
Yeah, the guy that had the ribs crushed, and this guy, the one with the massive impact to the skull, they both, it wasn't noticeable from the outside. So it was something that like,
wow,
the
autopsy had to be
done. Then they were able to figure out, all of these bones are broken, but how did it happen? There's no evidence from the outside that it happened from the outside of his body, you know, like. So it was really, really weird. And finally, Lirumilia was the girl, the youngest girl. She had crushed ribs, and some of them were broken, most of them. Her tongue and her eyes were missing, and she was also radioactive from her clothing. I wanted to add to that when they did the burials and when they were you know, getting them ready to bury them, when they did a viewing, family members did say that some of their bodies were glowing like an orange color.
What?
Yeah. And that their hair had turned like a grayish color. So it was really weird. I think that the police or whoever was investigating kind of gave them like I think this is what it is, but they didn't really believe it. But the 4 that were found in the ravine, the coroner did say that it took a lot of pressure to kill those people. Like the 3 of them, I think only one of them was determined as hypothermia. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I think 3 of them he determined that they died from their injuries. So the coroner said that he believes that these people were hurt with a very like high pressure like injury.
Yeah. Like
if they were in a car accident or a train like ran them over, or they fell from a really, really, really high elevation. So they couldn't explain it. And they still can't they can't explain the eyes, the tongue out, missing teeth, like, you know, like it was just really weird. The whole thing is weird.
Yeah. And then I mean, you know, the fact that one of their skull was broken from the inside out, like, I mean, your body can't do that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know, it's just like, what do you make of it, you know? It's pretty intense.
So do you want to get into theories, what you think it might be or it could have been? Or
yeah, well, I mean,
there was some evidence. Some of them, there was one of them that was trying to take pictures. Some of the pictures that they, and you can see the pictures of how they found the remains. You can see the pictures that they took online.
They're available.
They are available. The pictures that they took were weird.
Yeah, they were film pictures. They were like from film.
And they almost seemed like they were trying to take a picture of something outside of the tent. I do want to mention that when they were found, they also checked out the tent. The tent was intact. It wasn't under any snow. And they did find the camera on a tripod.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't broken. Like, it was just set up.
Yeah, I know that they did find the camera. And they also, they have the pictures out online too. Like, the pictures that they took, you know, how they set up their tent. Like, they have all kinds of pictures. And they did find one that was just odd to them because it was kind of like a light. Or they don't know if it was, like, the film in the camera was damaged, or like if that was like a picture they took, but it was like really odd.
It was really weird.
Yeah, it was really weird. And it's just like, I mean, I don't know what to make of it, man. You know, if we're getting into
okay, so the first the radioactive clothing.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let me just put it this way, man. I feel like the first 5 that they found, you know, near the cedar tree, near the fire, like, I feel like that could have legitimately been a cause of hypothermia for sure. You know, the way they found their bodies and the way frostbite.
But why would he bite his own hand?
Because, dude, frostbite, like, just think about that, man. Don't you remember the movie, like, Mount Everest? Like, how they would get, like, severe frostbite?
Yeah, but that wouldn't make you want to bite your hand off.
It wouldn't, but then, like, I don't know what to tell you. What if
I don't think, like, I just feel like even, like, the first 5 that they found, it was still weird. Because of the fact that...
it was.
Okay, if you die of... Okay, let's put a scenario. Somebody's out in a cold, minus 30 degrees, right?
Yes.
So hypothermia will set in quick. And you just pretty much just get in the fetal position and die.
Yeah, well, you'll be shaking, right? Like, wouldn't you be shivering? Like,
yeah, but...
And then, yeah, right? You would... I feel like that would be quick, no?
Yeah, I think so, because, like, why would their hands be burnt?
But, I mean, they
maybe their hands are super cold and they put them in the fire.
And then they try to... I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, so that's what I thought. I thought that could have been something more, like, realistic. I mean, like, something that really did happen. You know what I mean? Like as a result of nature. But I mean, the others that they found in the ravine, I mean, that sounds more like aliens to me. That sounds like something that's not like normal. Like,
so
not
what about
natural.
what about like Dyatlov, where he was missing one of his tooth?
That's odd. There is some odd things from those first 5 that is,
and like the girl Zenaida, that she had a fresh bruise on the side of her body. Like, I don't know. I like see, and the mind-boggling thing is what caused them to run out of their tent, out of their leave their shelter.
But they did run out, and they
with no clothes.
Yeah, with nothing on.
Only their socks.
But they were close to the fire. Like, if they were trying to like start, you know what I mean, like a fire, trying to keep warm. I mean, they ran out. I mean, that's what happened, right? Like, they ran out.
Mm-hmm. What about a government experiment? Like, they ran, or they, came across something they weren't supposed to. I mean, because the radioactive... But there was no other indication that there was other people there.
But I don't think like effects of radioactivity would cause such things like that, right?
What if they were trying to like test a new bioweapon or some sort of
I mean, honestly, anything is possible.
Brainwave,
anything is possible, but I mean, I just don't feel like it was what happened here.
What about the Yeti?
I don't know, man. Is he like? I don't know.
The Yeti is Bigfoot, but
like the white one?
Yeah,
like the one in Monsters Inc.
Yeah, the one that makes the snow cones.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. If he makes snow cones.
No, but I mean, I feel like if it was a Yeti, he would leave evidence. Like, they would be like signs of a struggle. There would be maybe like footprints. I don't know.
No, I don't think it was him, because Bigfoot, I mean, he's real careful about like when he comes out, and he don't seem to hurt people. I mean, do you think Bigfoot hurts people?
I don't know. He could if he wanted to. He's huge.
I know, but I mean, like, I don't feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't feel like it's the Yeti, man.
Okay. Some other people were trying to say that maybe they were on some drugs.
That's what I was thinking, man. Like, that would be like a
but one of them?
What do you mean one of them?
But they didn't find drugs in their system.
That's weird, dude.
They did find some alcohol.
That would explain why you would rush out. Like, let's say you're like under your high, and like you see weird stuff.
I know, but would a high cause you to like cut somebody's tongue out?
Dude,
and their eyeballs?
If you're on acid,
but
you be
back in the 50s?
I don't know, man, but like if you're on acid, you're gonna be tripping out. You're gonna like be thinking stuff isn't what it is. You know what I mean? You're hallucinating. You're not like on this plane. Yeah. Like I thought that was a possibility, but I mean, if they didn't find any signs of like drugs or anything on them, then I mean, that wasn't it.
Paranormal activity?
I mean, it was definitely
paranormal.
Yeah, for sure.
I think like the weird part about the whole thing is the way like their eyes were removed. So like the woman's tongue was removed, like the back of her was removed, like from the back. Like how would somebody do that?
I don't think
it would take a lot of like strength and power to do something like that.
To be honest, man, when you told me about like, and as we read through like what happened to these people, I don't think that was human at all, man. That was evil. Like it's really brutal. Like the way that this happened to them, it was really brutal. Like that's just, there's no way like
they
another
definitely
human could have done this.
They definitely suffered. Yeah, and I feel so bad.
It's like
that's just the scariest thing. Like to have, like I just, even when it's cold outside, like just imagine they were freezing out there. Like,
and then they were like tortured. Man, this sounds horrible. Yeah, like it just doesn't sound human. So it doesn't.
Yeah, and then the whole like them ripping their tent, to escape, and not worried about their clothing or their shoes, or you know, like
something happened that like really scared them.
And why? And I feel like some of them would try to like go back to the tent, but they couldn't. Because I think they found a few of them. I think they found the girl, one of the girls, Sanaida.
Yeah.
And somebody else trying to like go back to the tent, and they died before they got there. So it's pretty weird. I don't know.
It's really brutal.
That's all we have for today. If you guys have any thoughts, if you've heard of this story, let us know.
Or any like theories what you think happened.
Yes. And hopefully, I don't know if there's any more investigation they can do into this. Because the case was closed by the Soviet Union.
How long ago was this? This was back in the 60s.
But I think there was, in the 1990 something, they reopened it. I don't remember what it was for though.
And then they named it after the guy?
They named it after Dyatlov. So it's Dyatlov Pass. And there's people that go up there still and try to like recreate what happened, or try to like, you know, think about what are some of the scenarios. But
yeah,
I don't know. So if you guys have any thoughts, let us know. And I hope
they're like, they rest in peace.
They do, yeah, they rest in peace. And so we'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.